So a very good, I don't know what time of day it is, it's evening time I think. It's been a long day, left about 12 hours ago. Welcome to Scotland again, and just behind me over my left hand shoulder is the Skye Bridge, and that is the destination for this week's video. We're going to cross to the Isle of Skye to see the old Man of Storr, Ferry pools and possibly Nest Point Lighthouse if time permits. Man, what a drive today has been. So I stopped off on the way up on all the sort of usual places. I will stop like Rannoch Moor, Glencoe. Loch Lomond is extremely pretty at this time of year. It just made a nice change to see it in greenery rather than dead and brown. The last time I was up here, it was kind of in between seasons, so there was a little bit of white still on the tops of the mountains, but it was still very, very dead. Now it's come to life a little bit. It's quite nice to see it all in greenery, but yeah, almost 11 hours. Probably still got another hour's drive to go to get to the old Man of Storr car park, so I'm looking forward to getting across onto the Isle of Skye and taking some photographs of a place that I've always wanted to visit. So let's get stuck in and see what the Isle of Skye has to offer. Alright, so after nearly 12 hours on the road, I finally made it to the Isle of Skye, and just behind me up there, the old Man of Storr. So this is my hotel room for the evening. I've found a lay-by maybe about a mile away from the car park for the Man of Storr. This is where I'm going to spend the night, and I say spend the night, it's probably going to be about the next 5 hours. It's pretty late on now. Sunset's in about an hour. Sunrise is around 4:30, which is quite early, so we're not going to get too much sleep. But yeah, just going to get cuddled up in the car, have a few hours kip, wake up sunrise, and go climb up there. So I'll catch you in the morning. Well, it's now the morning after, and the weather has taken a turn for the wet and cloudy and grey and not much fun. Move the car down towards the toilet block, just trying to get freshened up a little tiny bit, which I managed to do. And now I don't know what to do, because up there is the old Man of Storr, and that was where I wanted to go for sunrise. Now sunrise happened a long time ago. My alarm was set for 3 AM. There was no point getting up at 3 AM when it was raining and windy. So, well, here we are. It's now about 5:30. Sunrise has long gone. And this cloud unfortunately hasn't, so I don't know what to do. I'll go back to sleep for now and see if all this moves on. Do I move somewhere else? And I don't really know. I wasn't expecting this kind of weather, but well, little hotel room, side of the road, where it's absolutely fine. Again, let's just see what happens. So after the disappointing weather at the old Man of Storr, I made an executive decision, and we've driven the 25 miles to the Ferry pools. It's kind of thrown my plan for the day a little bit backwards, because I wanted to start off where I slept and then drive around the island from there. I didn't really fancy backtracking, but well, that's the weather, so that's what we're going to have to do. So we're going to go for a walk around the Ferry pools for a few hours. It's somewhere I've always wanted to visit, so let's get stuck in and see what these beautiful little waterfalls have in store. So I've been walking down the track now for maybe 10-15 minutes, and it's deceptively uphill. It's not like a steep mountain climb, but there's definitely an uphill gradient, and it's definitely got the lungs working just a little tiny bit. So stopped off at this quite quaint little scene. There's a waterfall surrounded by some greenery. You can just about make out one of the Cullen mountains behind it, but the mountains are surrounded in low cloud, and I think it really adds to the atmosphere of the day that we're at. So I'm going to set up the camera and take a photograph of this, probably a long exposure of the waterfall. I just need to find some sort of focal length. I was experimenting with this camera, and I think somewhere around the 35mm focal length might get me what I want. I don't want to go too wide, because I kind of want to make the waterfall sort of the subject of the photograph. So we just need to figure this out a little bit. Something wide, but not too wide. So we get the waterfall, but we also get the greenery and the mountain as well. So let's set the camera up and have a little play. All right, so here is the first photograph from Ferry pools. It's not the best photograph I've ever taken. It's probably not the worst photograph. It's somewhere in the middle. But it's a good one just for getting your eye in for the day. So I've put a polarizing filter off just to take some of the reflection off the water. I've put a 3-stop filter on just to slow the shutter speed down just a little bit. It's around 6:45 in the morning. It's still quite dark. Obviously it's an overcast and grey day, so that's helping a little bit with this long exposure. So we're f10, 4 seconds, ISO 200. And this is just going to give us a bit of a long exposure look to a waterfall. A little bit of the mountain and some cloud in the background. Here it is. So this walk is surrounded by these little waterfalls everywhere. There's a nice one behind me. It seems to have like a natural frame between the two sides of the gorge. wonder if I can maybe get a long lens and just shoot down it. I'll have to get the tripod quite low and just shoot between it and just see if we can't do something a little bit fun with this one. So let's get the camera set up again, have a little bit of play around and see what photograph we can take next. All right, so I've thrown my Plastic Fantastic 40-150 on. I've put the polarizing filter on again and the 3-stop filter, and we're just shooting right down the middle of this little canyon gorge little thing where the waterfall's coming through, and I think this is going to look all right. So we're f10, 6 seconds, ISO 200, here's a 2-second timer. Now let's just shoot right down the middle and see what sort of photograph we get. And there's a lot of flying insects around me all of a sudden. This is going to be fun. That looks all right. All right, so at the present time, I've got this place to myself, but I can see the car park behind me. There are some cars starting to appear. Now, I think it might be time just to get up here and try and find that iconic Ferry Pulse photograph before this place fills up. I gather it's half term at the minute. People may start flocking here in the droves, and while it's kind of empty and I've got the place to myself, let's get up there and let's get this iconic photograph just before this place fills up and gets a little bit busy, because obviously doing these YouTube videos when there's people about is a bit sketchy. I also don't want to clone stamp people out of a waterfall, so let's get up there and get this photograph. So the rain started, the car park goes over there, you can no longer see it, and it really is raining. Oh man. Alright, so I think I found this photograph. That seems to be it down there. And I've got to get way on down there, which seems I'm going to have to track back on myself and scooch down along the beck. So this could be a good giggle. Let's see how it turns out. Good old sketch. Right. This has got to be it, hasn't it? Yeah, this is it. How on earth am I going to do this thing? I mean, what's more scary, the fact I'm stood in the middle of a waterfall, or the fact it's raining while I'm stood in the middle of a waterfall? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to do this chest POV cam. It's about the safest way I'm going to be able to do this. I'm hoping I can put the bag down without it getting washed away somewhere. That seems fine. I'm going to have to get the E-M1 Mark 2 out, swap lens, and not drown anything. Oh man. I'm going to do this all in one take. I'm just going to unedit this and I'm just going to throw the full thing on. So, let's stand up. I'm not taking the lens cap off just yet because it is raining. And I may use my baseball cap to hide the filters when I get the filters thrown on there. That may be the best way I can do this. Now, if I pick the bag up, where's my 77 to 62 millimeter ring? 62 to 77 is there. So I'm going to screw this on now. And I'm going to use the palm of my hand just to cover the front lens element. And that's screwed on. I'm also now going to put my baseball cap over it like that, and that should hopefully keep just a little bit of the water droplets off the front element of this lens. So, filters now. Excuse me. Right, polarizing filter. The longer this is exposed, the more water droplets we're going to get on there, which we don't want. There we go. Throw that back on for now. Turn the camera on. Oh look, I can see my hat. Right. So, let's get some sort of composition. A little bit wider. I like that. We've kind of got the clouds in the top of the third, the beck, the bottom of the third, and the waterfall in the middle. What sort of focus mode are we on there? Wide. Okay. There we go. Focus there. Put the hat back on. Now, if I get the 3-stop filter out, I'm hoping that the exposure value hasn't changed too much. I can throw this three-stop filter in there now. I usually have big microfiber cloths for things like this. I don't seem to have one today. Right, 6 seconds is 1.6. Let's push it to 2. 2-second timer. Let's take the photograph. Let's get the hat back on quickly. Alright, so we have a long exposure photograph of the Ferry Pools waterfall. There's an awful lot of white sky above it. It's a little bit of a shame. I'm hoping the dynamic range and a little bit of the haze will be able to bring some of the texture out in the sky, but here we go. Right, so let's try again. Let's zoom in a little bit further this time. Get rid of some of that nastiness. Again, we focus on the waterfall. Let's just double check we've got some. Yep, I'm going to cut through there. Baseball cap back on. 2-second timer. 2-second exposure. There we go. So I've made the hour-and-a-half drive, or what it seems like, from the Ferry Pools back to the old Man of Storr. Now climbing up it with 6,000 other people. Wonderful. At least the cloud's clearing, that's a good thing. A lot of the low cloud that was enveloping this area earlier on is gone. So hopefully when we get to the top, we'll be able to hang around for a little while and get quite a nice photograph. Let's get up there. So we're a little ways up this hike now, and I've been stood here for maybe 10-15 minutes just trying to get a picture of the Man of Storr and the Needle as the low cloud is rolling across, which it has been. There's been some gaps appearing in the cloud, which is good enough. We'll be able to do something with the haze, and I think we'll be able to throw a couple of radial filters on and really make something pop and look quite dramatic from this scene. You see behind me all the cloud and everything. It's still rolling around, and it's just not breaking as much as I was expecting it to do. I think in the next couple of hours is when the light is going to be the best, and I think that's when the cloud is going to be its least. So I think it may be time just to make the hike up to the top, look down and just cross basically everything that this cloud clears enough. It's nice to be here. It's a shame about the weather conditions. It's not somewhere I'm ever going to come back to, so I really just want something I can work with from today's video. So fingers crossed we get something. Let's just see what the day brings. So a quick update on the weather. It's not clearing. We're now completely in the cloud. I've somewhat resigned myself that I'm not getting a picture. And it's just a case of seeing how far up here we can get. It's windy, it's cold, and it's very, very cloudy. And I can't see this weather dissipating at all, but well, at least we're here. We're climbing it, and we're making some sort of effort. Alright, so we're trying something here. We're just waiting to see if the cloud clears. You see this old rock formation behind me. Just seeing if the cloud just clears in time. May be able to get something using a big rock as a foreground interest. We've got a guy taking a selfie in front of us, but we should be able to clone him out quite easily. I'm wondering if the cloud is actually going to break like the weather forecast suggested it would. So I'm at f4.5 and 80th of a second. I'm using the 6mm Laowa lens at ISO 200. Here's his photograph. Alright, so I think this is about as far as I'm going to push it today. Cloud lifted. Let's get a couple of photos, which is more than I anticipated I would when I was down there anyway. Hopefully I've got something I can work with when I get home. As I say, this is the only time I'm likely to come here anyway, so something is better than nothing. It's been a bit of a hit and miss one. The weather has really just killed it a little bit, which is a shame, but at least I've seen it, I've climbed up it, so at least I can tick that one off the bucket list for this. So this is an interesting ending to the video. What a boat. It's going to save me around, well, 150 miles and a little over 2 hours driving. So I thought I'll just throw this bit in there, let's take some pictures off this boat as we're going across. So we're saving from Annandale, I think it was, to Ballig. Half an hour crossing, £18, well worth it. Oh man, this is so much fun. It's just something just a little bit different, isn't it? I'm also partly doing this because I'm not sure if I get seasick or not. It's not really rough, but swaying around a little bit. There's car alarms going off. Looking like we're almost getting to where we're supposed to be at, so I'm just going to keep photographing a few little things and pieces and I'll show you the end results. But yeah, a little bit of an impromptu ending to the video after I already edited it. Earlier on.